Hey, it's Heath again. If you remember me from the intros back a couple weeks ago. Today we're going over the aviation leadership service project that we were assigned. The project I decided to go for was make a bake sale for donations to give to the VFW, which is a Veterans of Foreign Wars organization. I think they do a lot of good for veterans who've come back home. And so I wanted to do what I could to give back to them, being a veteran myself, and also one of my members of this project was also a veteran. I was Army, he was Navy, so we both think they do good. The main points we're going to be talking over are the overview, the action plan, and the timeline. 5 W's of who, what, where, when, why. Contingency plan, post, and everything that happened afterwards. And then photos of myself, some of the process, and the participants I had in this project. The overview is basically a small bake sale, nothing super special, but something to raise money for the VFW, and all proceeds going to them. I had to utilize, implement leadership skills in order to make it or do it, and all the steps in it, I should say. And lastly, it also brings attention to the VFW. Not a lot of people know what the VFW is, but so it helps get their name out there. And some either get more donations outside of this, or have people that are current veterans that don't know about it can go and learn about it as well. The people who's going to be involved is myself, Heath Schuff, my brother Austin Schuff, who is also the veteran I said who's in the Navy. Katrina Wagman, a fellow classmate I had from previous classes, and then nieces and nephews of the members. One of my nephews and one of Katrina's nieces. Felt it'd help a little bit since 3 adults selling baked goods in a park doesn't sound very well. If you have nieces and nephews, little kids, it makes it a little more palatable. Again, small bake sale is at the Willow Creek Paw Park. It's a park nearby where I live. There's usually a good amount of foot traffic, and then people having dogs back and forth. We brought dog treats so that they would want to come visit the stand, I guess. Between 7:30 and 3:30 was the timeline, and why was again to raise funds for the VFW. Here's what the timeline looks like. It was 7:30. All members were to meet at the designated house or apartment. We ended up meeting at my brother's house. 8 o'clock, Katrina, who's the main baker because she makes delicious foods, is the one who began cooking with help. 9:30 is the one where you have I'm going to leave, go set up the park. 10:30, everything will be completed. Austin and Katrina will leave to meet me. We'll start at 10:30-ish and then finish about 2:30-ish. We actually ended up finishing truly about 3:30-ish or so. Put us back on a little bit on timeline, but didn't affect anything bad. And then once we finished at 3:30, we were able to gather all the money, and I've yet to take the money to the donation yet, but I have finished yesterday, so I'll plan on doing the donation later on today. The contingency plan, there wasn't very much that had to be thought of into the contingency plan, at least for this. Moderate weather, we were going to go to a sheltered location. There was a small gazebo that we could have used at the park, so that wasn't a bad one, but if severe weather, we would have had to reschedule. Thankfully, we didn't have any weather at all. It was a beautiful sunny day when we did it. Post, overall, I think it was generally successful. Didn't have to implement the contingency plan at any point. I had to be creative when it came to leadership qualities due to having to deal with my brother and Katrina, who are older, about my age, versus the nieces and nephews who are 8 or so. You got to learn how to deal with both of them. But for the most part, everything went fairly smooth and well. Last we raised about $500 in donations. This was part 2. We didn't set a price when it came to the items being sold. We just put pay what you feel you should and all proceeds go to the VFW. I think that ended up helping us more than hurting us, because people are usually better at donating instead of just going with the price given, it seemed like. So we had a couple donations even without the buying anything, and it ended up being around 500. So here are the photos of the incident of the day, including myself, the two people that were involved, and then just some of the process of going through it. But that's about the last of it I had on here. Thank you for listening to me, and Appreciate it. Good luck to everybody else on their service project.